Welcome to the iHemp Hour. My name is Dave Crable. I'm with iHemp Michigan. Our mission is to educate, inform, and promote the research, development, and cultivation of industrial hemp. And we've got an interesting topic on hand for you today. Our guest, we'll get to that in just a second. Let's just a quick round of introductions. Welcome, Mr. Brennan.
Howdy, everyone.
And Blaine from a remote location.
Hello. Hello, everybody. But soon to be home to the home studio, we hope. So that's working out pretty well. So, yep. We hope.
We're doing this on a rare Friday. We had to switch things up a little bit for everybody's schedules. But I thought this is important. We're talking to Michael Thue. Michael's been a friend of hemp and cannabis and an advocate for a number of years. He's a certified medical assistant, a member of the American Association of Medical Assistants. He's the CEO and founder of Great Lakes Hemp Supplements, LLC, and the Center for Compassion. He's won a number of awards. Michael's one of those guys that, gives first and, doesn't ask for a lot, and he's been rather outspoken and passionate about this plant. So, we want to do everything we can to help Michael through this challenge. He's got another challenge ahead of him, except because it seems like people are afraid of this little plant. So, Michael, welcome to the iHemp Hour.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Michael, you're
running into the office real quick.
I think you're out of the room or something.
We've got
Sorry,
Michael.
I had to get inside the building real quick. I'm here now. Sorry about that, Wayne. Thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah, well, we appreciate everything you've been doing over the years, Michael. You've been an advocate for cannabis. You've got some award-winning CBD products. We're going to talk about one of them that won a Hempies award. A little bit later today. So I guess let's get into it. What happened last week, Michael?
Well, about 11 o'clock, we were out harvesting in the rain, and I was running back and forth from my garage to the field with my guys as we were washing and hanging plants. And I heard some pounding on the door and some yelling and so I went out to the field and grabbed the guys that were out there working with me, and I could see the lights off the side of my shipping container that I have just on the front side of my fence. So my whole backyard's fenced in other than a small break in the gate, but I could see the lights in the break in the gate. And so I grabbed the two guys that were there with me, and we all walked up front, hands up. There was a lot of people there, full SWAT, fully automatic rifles, masks on. After a second, as I was getting closer to the fence, I recognized one guy that was in just plain clothes with a jacket on. He was Lieutenant Belcher with the Michigan State Police. And I asked him, I said, "What's going on today, Belcher?" And he's like, "What's up with this bullshit?" And he says, "It's not me today, Michael." He says, "It's them." I'm like, "What do you mean them?" And he says, "They got some questions about your licensing." I said, and this is how you approach some questions regarding my licensing? Go ahead.
So was it CRA or was it?
So the marijuana and tobacco investigation section, they are responsible for handling, I guess, cannabis issues that don't fall within the CRA's authority or reach. So, like, because my license isn't active, I guess, or I'm really not 100% sure yet. So they didn't give us any real information. They just said that we were under investigation for selling cannabis without a license, and my hemp was hot. And I says, I told MDARD, as well as an MDARD inspector, that I wasn't growing hemp this year, that I was back to my caregiver grow, because the hemp program and the has kind of been a mess. And I have plenty of hemp in storage that I was going to just do caregiver grow this year. So, I had that conversation, publicly with Molly at the event down there about the licensing issues. Then the next week after that, I got a call from an inspector, and he was wanting to inspect my hemp field. And I said, sir, I didn't grow hemp this year. I said, you're looking at 2021's application. I says, and then the wording on the hemp processor application and the way it reads this year, I didn't renew my hemp processor application either. I haven't processed hemp, even personally, as far as extraction goes, since November, because we moved into the beginning of December. I have not set my extraction equipment up this entire year, right? So other than me still making CBD products, which I have for the last 11 years, I have not grown hemp or processed hemp, but yet they somehow are still trying to inspect my field based on my 2021 application. I told them the only thing I was doing was storing hemp right now, and that I would renew my hemp processor license and, for CBD again, when we needed to start making more product. That I had enough inventory that, we were just still selling that. So I don't know if they're coming at me for selling CBD without a license. I imagine they're trying to prove I was doing more than that because of having the caregiver grows and stuff as well. But, I told them, I'm like, this, when they came, like, this isn't, I'm not claiming this is hemp. Like, I told multiple people that I didn't renew my hemp license. Like, my roommate has caregiver cards, and my dad has caregiver cards, and that covers, the majority of the plant count, or a part of the plant count. The rest of it was like seed research. So I did grow a little bit of hemp this year, but it was just to keep some fresh CBD products, fresh CBD flower for the little bit that we needed. And then I had a bunch of just seed testing going on out there of just seeing what kind of ratios we're going to come up, or which seeds, we're going to produce. So I didn't only do a fraction of what we could have with our field potential, and just kind of getting by what we needed. The industry's at a lull, so I didn't want to grow everything that we needed, and nothing, very little, not even our greenhouse was filled to potential. I had little seedlings on the back half of the greenhouse going for breeding, and so it was just. And then at the same time as they did my place, they did my office. So our doctor's office is pretty much what we've always been. We do medical marijuana certifications and specialize in CBD products. So they rated my office the same style, like SWAT style, at the same time. So, if they were doing any kind of investigation, like they say, they would know that my office girl, my office manager, sits here by herself, and just answers the phone. It's not like we're real busy. We don't have any security guards or anything like places, like a lot of the dispensaries downstate. We just operate as a doctor's office. So, I don't know. It was just really crazy. There was one patient in here. It was a local psychiatrist from town. He got tossed against the wall and cuffed. Once he finally got uncuffed, he started recording and recorded up until they let Megan leave. So it's, it's really terrifying to Megan. She's never dealt with anything like that. You got 12 armed, officers coming in full SWAT style into the office as well. And so it's been a mess. Like, I dealt with that when I was really young once. And then like, it's been a lot to get over in my past. And, going through it again is really, it's been difficult. Like, I find myself grinding my teeth again, like I did when I was young, trouble sleeping, weird dreams, crazy dreams. So it's, it plays a lot on you when you deal with something like that. So I don't know. I've got, and I'm working with Michael Comorn with Comorn Law, and he does, the Michigan Hemp Association, I think is what it's called. And he's been a huge cannabis attorney for a long time. He fought a case for me that we did, that probation case for anyone can use medical marijuana with a valid card if they're on bond, probation, or parole. And then, so I got him. We're looking at going after the forfeiture and the seized items. Cause crazy, like they thought they were, coming in to shut down a big criminal enterprise and drug operation. But, all they got was $400 from my office, and they took my tractor from my farm. So my old John Deere tractor, they thought it was valuable. I'm like, well, I'll be coming after that so I can snow blow my driveway this winter. I use it more for snow blowing my driveway in the winter than I ever do any work on my farm, really. We get a lot of snow up here. But I also have been contacted and have been in touch with a group of civil rights attorneys. They had caught my article and reached out to me. I spent some time going through last week, kind of in depth, what happened, with them more in depth, like my position, my angle, kind of really trying to be transparent to see if they thought there was anything they could do. They have given me some positive feedback. I still have to raise the money to, fight for my product. And
Whoop, we lost you.
all right, sorry, somebody was calling in. Should have put it on airplane mode. Am I there still?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Except for it disconnected my headset. Sorry, that threw me off. But yeah, working with the group of the civil rights attorneys and trying to see, they think there's some recourse there, but I still have to raise the money in the meantime to deal with actually fighting for my property before they get it approved by their board to take my case. And then they will do all their work pro bono, but theirs is more from a civil aspect. So as of right now, I just spent the day in cuffs, watching them cut and burn my entire field. And then they just let me go back inside my house. They didn't take me to jail. As of right now, there's no charges. I do expect some once we start going after our property, because in Michigan, they can't keep any of your property under civil asset forfeiture without a criminal conviction. So they need to try, if they want to try to keep anything, or because it was so little that they took, maybe they'll just give it back and not, we can cross our fingers on that and hope, but, so, yeah.
So Michael, let's bring this up now and we'll bring it up later too. So if people want to kind of help, you've helped a lot of people in your time with everything. And if people may not know how to help you right now or assist you if they want to. So I know you've got a GoFundMe page. So I think we just brought it up there. So people can help you that way. and we'll show some products that you have later. So another thing is you still have product for sale and you're able to sell that at this time, correct?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep doing it. I haven't technically renewed my hemp license yet, so I'll be transparent on that. But you know, uh, I've paid for the first 3 years. So like, what are we supposed to not sell our inventory that we grew the first 3 years legally? I mean, I was approved by the USDA to grow it and process it up until this year. So I'm still selling off the stock that we have, and going to do it until I can resubmit on the new application. If I would have been notified that we could have resubmit that they had fixed the application, I would have submitted already, instead of having to go through this. I thought with these programs we were supposed to have audits and not raids. Compliance checks. We give them permission when we're growing hemp to come out and check our fields. Like this year they had to get a warrant because they knew I wasn't in the hemp program, but yet they were still telling all the officers that they were there cutting down hot hemp. And some of the cops were really mad. They were in the rain for the day cutting down what they were being told was hot hemp.
A lot of work. Yeah. They have a new appreciation for hemp farming now, right?
So, Michael, one thing you had mentioned earlier on too, you said they. So is this a state thing? Is the federal involved in this, or just the state at this point?
So I think there may have been one federal officer, and I heard that anywhere within, I want to say 20 or 40 miles of the water is all Homeland Security coverage also. So our jurisdictions overlap with that constantly. So I'm not 100% positive, but Doc Ded had asked for like the highest ranking federal officer when he was talking to some people because of his involvement with the Native American Church, and some of the sacramental products that he had on the property as well. So he had got to talk to one person that said that they were, and I seen the letters on their shirt was HSI. I just thought it was maybe Homeland Security investigation, but I'm not positive.
So basically, over a $1,350 invoice for the state of Michigan, they decided to send armed men to your farm and confiscate property.
I mean, and they kept talking about the MFLA too, and I'm like, I can't apply for the MFLA. The city and the township that I live in and where I do business, they've never opted into the MFLA.
What's the MFLA? Would you clarify that?
So that's the Marijuana Facilities and Licensing Act, the Medical Marijuana Facilities and Licensing Act. Okay, so one of their biggest questions was taxes. Like, you're selling cannabis and how are you paying taxes on it? And I showed them like, hey, I just did my taxes. Here, you'll find it all on my desk. Like, here's the last 5 years worth of my taxes. And gave them a little explanation of how I do my business, and and that we only have the Medical Marijuana Act to operate under in our township, because they kept asking about the Marijuana Facilities and Licensing Act and why I didn't have a license, and it's like, from that aspect, like, we're not allowed to. Our township hasn't adopted any medical marijuana or recreational zoning or rules. So the only rule that we can operate under as far as cannabis goes is the hemp law and the Medical Marijuana Act.
Have you been given any documentation or served with anything that tells them why and how come?
No, I got a copy of the warrants for my house and my office. And then the business card for the guy that was in charge of the investigation. And and then like all the seizure paperwork of like everything that they took off the property. So it was really crazy, like what they took, what they left. One time he told me they were going to leave me all my CBD products that were at the office, or, you know, he said he was going to tell his other officers too, but they didn't. Like, they took everything out of my office. They did leave me a fair amount of stuff at my house, like my super sacks that were labeled from previous years. I talked them into leaving those. At one time, they said they were burning everything. Like, and I'm like, look, I legally, like, I've had a license the last 3 years, and every one of those bags is tagged and labeled, like, what year it came from. So I finally talked them into, like, leaving those, and they just destroyed everything that was out there for this year's crop, which was majority of our THC for our patients this year. There was a lot of, you know, I had a good row of cannatonic out there also, just to have some fresh cannatonic flower, but, you know, so.
You feel this is sort of any kind of vendetta or retribution from, you know, people that you worked with in the past that may not have been too excited about that, or what?
I mean, the only retaliation I think it comes from is more the, you know, the state of Michigan. I mean, they had to pass a law in response to my court case this year, in which a lot of money, a lot of lobbying dollars, a lot of resources were wasted, you know, lobbying for this law that didn't need to be put into place. And this law gives the federally funded drug courts, veterans courts, and sobriety courts, gives the judge the right to refuse cannabis as medicine to the people that are in front of them in these specialty courts. So it was something that they had to lobby really hard on, go all the way through the House and the Senate, and get the governor's signature to make this amendment after my court case that I won with Kamorn last year. Kamorn told me not to do any more interviews without him, so I completely forgot. Dave, I told you I was going to do this, so I'll probably get yelled at later. That's all right. I told him, I said, it's more to raise awareness. Like, we need, you know, comes down to back to our elected officials, our local government, you know, and at election time this year is really knowing your candidates, knowing where they stand on certain issues, and continuing to stay aware of that. You know, and then the hemp, like, why are we continuing to have so many questions regarding hemp and CBD? I mean, CBD is sold at every gas station. We're really expecting the federal farm bill this year to clarify, you know, CBD, its use, its appropriate placement. You know, why has the state of Michigan continually, this is not the first time that they've done this. When they first did the MFLA and they thought they were going to regulate all the dispensaries and all the cannabinoids, they put out a memo saying that CBD was illegal back then. And we had, I want to say that might have been 15. So we had the federal farm bill of 14 that added research. 18 added a little bit more research, right? That really clarified and got us started. But 14 farm bill, you know, introduced CBD language, like that it was, you know, starting to come into play. So at that time, it was already being sold in a lot of openly in the market under the Hemp Food Act of 2005. So, you know, we've been doing this for, you know, 11, 12 years now, doing CBD grow and cultivation under the medical marijuana law, and then under these research and development aspects.
Yeah, I know we had you talking to the tribe up in Marquette. You were looking at some work on some of that old Dow chemical land, and you know, there's a lot of things you've been involved with to help with the whole situation.
Well, the crazy thing is, I'm even on the Attorney General's promo video, and I think that is just another one of like them just kind of giving me a little slap too, because my comment on the Attorney General's promo video is just, it's nice to be able to sleep at night under this Attorney General's administration, knowing that medical marijuana patients aren't getting rated over medical marijuana anymore. And then come the end of the season, just before election, I get kicked in, and we know, like, I hate to say, I never thought I'd be so much into politics, but being in activism has forced me into politics on like I never imagined. Where like I've been to DC and lobbied and been in Jack Bergman's office, like talking with him about hemp in DC. I've been to Debbie Stabenow's office in Lansing. Isn't she in DC also? I want to say I was in her office in DC too. And then our local reps, like, you can bet I'm switching all my votes this year because every one of them voted against me, on this law that they passed to overturn and give judges their rights back to refuse. Like, who in the right gives a judge why does a judge think they would ever have the power to play doctor from the bench? This is mind-blowing to me. My doctor is just blown away by the thoughts of what they're putting us through and doing right now again. And it's like, and the people that are just, put in charge of like regulating and enforcing these laws, they're clueless on what the laws actually are. He compared the Medical Marijuana Act to a draconian law that was unenforceable or irrelevant, like those for sodomy or tying up your horse. And that was the lead investigator telling this to me while I was questioning him. I was questioning him when he was questioning me. It's like, I wasn't nice, and he didn't know the law. And it was really sad that he was there to enforce one law, and he only knew that aspect of the law and didn't understand that there are 2 other cannabis laws on the books besides just the MFLA that he was there yelling at me about.
Well, we had Brian Hanna, the acting CRA director, on 420 Post on Wednesday, and I brought that question up, and he said that he found out about it when he read the news articles, and that wasn't something that CRA was involved in. And I can't say I assume that's the truth. So yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, I was real surprised when I found out about it, because we were talking. I was going to buy some CBN products from you to help me sleep, and then you said, I got to go. I'm getting raided or something, So it was a crazy day.
Yeah, it's been a crazy couple of weeks now, trying to put everything back in order and decide what to do and how to move forward. Business was already really slow with just the way things have been with CBD and the whole cannabis industry in Michigan. My township's not getting their crap together and getting with the programs yet. Just everything's been really dragging. Luckily, medical marijuana certifications has stayed up. There's still over 250,000 patients registered with the state of Michigan with their cards. So those numbers for our clinics have maintained. But it's getting really difficult to pay the bills off just that and the few CBD products that, we still do trickle, especially because we keep having to cut our prices down just to compete and to keep the customers, the wholesale customers accounts that we do have. So, the same things we were selling before, we're getting half the price for now, because the market keeps changing. So I'm hoping after this year we don't have to drop prices anymore, but and luckily it's still worth it for us to make it. It's just literally looking for new outlets, for our specialty cherry products. If you guys have know anyone out there that's interested in, carrying the products, we're really looking for some new outlets on that helps to keep us afloat. I've always pretty much ran this as a nonprofit. We started as a nonprofit doing marijuana certifications in June of 2009. 2 years into it, after getting city approval, being able to run farmers markets, they got greedy. They voted me out, and within 2 months, they had to close. Our original nonprofit. So when I started the Center for Compassion, I started it with that same business model of like, I'm a patient first. We educate patients and we teach patients how to take care of themselves. And that's been my business model, and that's why I focused on CBD. Is because it allows me to not really be limited by state lines the last number of years and help a lot more people than what we've been able to, and kind of give us our own little lane and specialty.
Guys, can I share my screen? I was going to bring up Great Lake Hemp Supplements website to show people what products, if they're looking for some CBD products to buy, and maybe help Michael out a little bit. So can I share my screen somehow?
Yeah, go ahead and hit the present button at the bottom of the screen there.
All right, here we are. Okay. Share screen. Share screen. Share screen. Now, can you see that?
Not yet. Nope.
Not yet. And I've done it wrong.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, you do.
I've got it.
You're the wizard, Dave.
That's what we call him, all right, Wizard Dave.
So it's really funny when I want to call Dave from my phone. I have Dave Crable in the phone, right? But I also have him as the wizard. So I actually have to say, call the wizard, and then it says calling Dave Crable.
It fits still.
All
right, I canceled mine. Okay, there we go.
Yep. So this is and this stuff is delicious. I've used it, enjoy it. So this is probably your best, your most popular tank. Well, you have probably have stronger.
Yeah, as in the drop down, it gives you the different strengths. So the 1,000 milligram is the best buy and the most commonly ordered. Looks like they didn't fix the pricing on that yet this week. They were supposed to. I'll have to message them today. Okay. So we are doing price reduction too, and then we do a coupon with the order, so 10% off for reorders. Coupon code.
Yeah,
those are down to 60 though now. We've dropped them to 60 in the office instead of that 85 for the 1,000 milligrams.
And I know the full spectrum; those are really, really.
These are tasty.
You've won a lot of awards. I think 2 years ago you won the Hemp Award for that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That one I've won anytime I've entered it. Like that just is a unique product. We don't do gummies, so we keep a medicinal focus. There's a lot of medicinal value to tart cherries, from anti-inflammatory to antioxidant. Has a natural melatonin to help you sleep and calm down and to relax at night. And then so it plays synergistically really well with the full spectrum cannabinoid oil that we use, the CBD oil.
And Michigan product, right? You're using Michigan cherries, right?
Yeah. From Traverse City, so I figured CBD would eventually get saturated, so I took a little niche early on.
Yeah. Yeah, and this Canatonic, I grew one of your plants a couple of years ago, and it turned out really well, and it was compliant. In fact, I think it's still sitting over at Fabio's right now. Need to go get that. But
so I'm sure, Michael, if you need to, if you need to make sure that you're compliant, and you need someone to probably carry those products, a processor, I'm sure that we can find someone in the iHemp community that can probably help you out there. So just let us know if you need some help going down that road. If that ever gets to be an issue for you.
I thought about that, about like running somebody else's processor number for a minute. I want to try to see if I can renew mine and see if they're going to give me a hard time first. But I guess we'll see.
if anyone gives me a hard time while I'm in that process.
Well, when we had that conversation with Molly, she was all about getting more hemp farmers, but she doesn't know what that number needs to be to fund. My understanding is they needed to raise the fee from $100 to $1,350 to fund the department, and we went from 700 growers to under 50 growers. Well, maybe 60, 70 growers this year, all told. But of course, the market conditions didn't help. But then the fee increase, it prohibited all that trial and research, those little plots, just a quarter acre or whatever. So, they're in so many ways, we're being handicapped, in trying to develop this market. We're still trying to figure things out, and they're not making it easy. Where we're seeing Pennsylvania and New York, are throwing money at the industry to try and build the industry. And we have this great opportunity with the strong manufacturing base to do a lot of things, with this commodity crop. But it's still vilified. It's really frustrating. I find it very frustrating.
It really has been. Like Gina Alessandra put so much work into getting us this program that first year, and the next 2 years the application started reading. Do you hope to be able to put your hemp into the regulated market? Like that was a box on the application, right? Like it made it look like they were going to bridge a gap to work with. And then the CRA takes over the program, and we're like, okay, well, maybe this will be the gap to help us get our CBD product into the market. And then what the CRA, the organization that's tasked with regulating, just goes straight up on there and says, hey, it's illegal. You hope to do it when it becomes illegal. We talked about, there's some question federally, but this year even Delta 8 was cleared federally to be sold anywhere across the board as a hemp derivative. Right. So how are we still arguing about CBD when you just approved Delta 8 to be sold nationally at gas stations?
THC light, right? So,
yeah. Hey, Blaine, one of the things we neglected to mention when we were talking about Michael Thue's products, one of these was a Hempy Award winner from last year.
Actually, two of them were. The fruit one and the drops were both winners 2 years ago. Mm-hmm.
All right. So, I just want to thank you again, Michael, for always being there, always supporting our efforts to educate, inform, and promote, and being involved and being a good advocate for this little plant that is vilified. Not everybody, but certain important people are very scared of this little plant, it seems like.
It's called Big Pharma. But while we put up that GoFundMe link again one more time for those folks that may have joined the show late.
So if you can help out, certainly help. Give Michael a shout out if there's a friendship, and give him a little help financially. And Michael, keep us informed as you move through this process. And if there's anything else we can do to help support you with that, it's very interesting to how this whole thing is evolving and what's going on. And
I greatly appreciate your guys' help, and I definitely can make things a little confusing sometimes because these laws are all confusing for people, and I'm out here trying to do my best to understand and work with what we're given. And it's just crazy that this is still their approach. Like, I'm open, I'm in Lansing, I'm on the Attorney General's video. Like, somebody couldn't have called. I even told the guy when I had to go pick up the warrant the next Monday from him because he didn't leave the warrant. I says, couldn't you have just called me? Like, couldn't we have had a conversation?
Yeah.
Right? You could have come into my office and just had a conversation. He's like, well, that would have blown my investigation. I'm like, so you waste all these resources and come and do a smash and grab for basically a bunch of CBD products, and this year's crop of my benefits back to being my caregiver grow. And way to go. now we're going to sue you for all of our patients' medicine that you just destroyed.
Challenging times.
Yeah.
It's just, why are we going backwards? We should be going forward. Like, this hemp program, again, they worked so hard to get it started, and now it's like they're just taking it backwards. And Molly, she just acts like she just wants to hand it away to the feds. She don't even want to deal with it at the meeting this summer. And that really bothered me. Like, everyone's worked so hard for us to be able to do this and have our own program, and we have our own laws. Like, why are we just going to hand it back to the Fed because you guys are lazy and there's no money for you in it? Right? Like, that's how I see it coming down. And it sucks. I hate the bureaucracy behind this. And, they don't understand that, like, especially when it comes to quality CBD medicine, like, this really affects people's lives and livelihoods, right? Not just their livelihoods, but their lives, how their health, they're sworn to a service of, protecting the health and humanity, right? But, and the health and safety of the citizens, but like, they are the most detrimental part a lot of times to, instead of what they're trying to help, they're making it a lot worse.
I want to remind all the Michigan growers too, it's coming up quicker than we think, but November 30th, if you're a processor, you need to renew your license through the CRA this year. MRA is handling the growing side, the agricultural side of it, but CRA is handling the processing. So I did just check this morning, and they've got the information up there on the 2023 licensing application. So it is there. You should be getting, I haven't gotten mine yet, but you should be getting a letter from them, I'm assuming very soon, regarding that process, how to do that. So if you're going to renew your license and you want to avoid the late penalty fee, make sure that you do that by November 30th.
Or a SWAT team. Yeah. Now, when we had Andrew Brisboe on, we asked, because every gas station and local drugstore has CBD products. They're not all paying that process. If they were all paying that processor handler license, we wouldn't have a money issue for the hemp industry. That's not happening. Don't expect it to happen. I'm not saying it should happen. So that's the question. If someone else is formulating the product and you put up a website and just sell those products, do you have to have a processor handler license?
And according to the state of Michigan, yes, but who's going to ever enforce it? I guess they did me because I'm fucking very vocal.
You don't. I got the impression that it wasn't required because they're not.
They were not going to require every gas station or anybody that sold the CBD to have the processor handler license. Correct.
So whoever's making the product,
right? Who's ever formulating it, they need to have that license. Correct.
That was my understanding, but man, it's
and it doesn't have to be. I mean, we certainly want to promote Michigan and Michigan processors for sure, and we have a lot of great ones in the state. So there's a lot of choices you can make there. But you could buy this product from out of state. I mean, the CBD is legal across the straight lines and just cross state lines, and to do that, so that's not a problem. So, yep. Yeah.
Michigan just keeps overstepping their bounds and restricting our programs and making them worse instead of helping expand. We were at the lead one time with the medical marijuana community as well, and now we're like in the back seat. We had the potential to really lead with the hemp industry, and our own state stands in the way and restricting it. So, what they could offer money for infrastructure and get some real infrastructure built within the state of Michigan, knowing that we have. They already own half the automotive industry from the bailouts anyways. It would all fund itself, right? But, they just all get in the way of the progress instead of trying to figure out how to make it work to better everybody.
Yeah. Well, we have to keep working, keep doing the education, keep, putting the effort in to keep our heads up. So, all right, gentlemen, I think it's time to break for the news.
All right. Well, thank you, Michael, for taking time today and explaining it, and keep us informed.
Yeah, appreciate you. All right, so let's, I think Mike Brennan is up.
He is indeed. And as I mentioned, if you go to mimarijuanareport.com, or heck, I posted it to a bunch of different groups all over Facebook. We have about a 25-minute interview with the new acting CRA director, Brian Hanna. And one of the things he did, he says right now he has a 90-day plan that he's working on. Didn't get into real specifics exactly on what that was. Everybody now realizes he has a law enforcement background, but it's more of a military background. He was in military intelligence and counter espionage activities, so not really police enforcement background, but still. And he also mentioned that they're hiring a bunch of people, including a whole lot more inspectors that will be out there in the fields next year. So keep that in mind. Make sure your licenses are up to date so you don't have issues that Michael just went through. You can watch that whole.
There's a little dispensary in Detroit that had a few problems. It sounded like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
too.
that was actually a 17-month investigation. I think it was House of Mary Jane, it was called. And they had a whole bunch of unlicensed, unmetric licensed product that was discovered. And they were told to not destroy that and make sure they kept their videos. And a week later, when the investigators went back, surprise, the product was gone and the videos were gone. So they lost their license for a month, but it took 17 months. And he addressed that and he said, yeah, you can't have that. So that's not really on his watch. That was on Andrew Brisbo's watch. And some of that might be one of the reasons that Andrew is not there anymore. The state has been really, really vague about why they moved a high-profile guy that was actually the head of the national enforcement group, or the agency groups, and moved him over to construction codes. Yeah, we never got a real clear answer on that, so everybody's guessing as to what that might be. The other thing I want to mention, a couple of things I want to mention is there's some talk that in the lame duck session of Congress that'll be coming up right after the elections, they could finally be passing the Safe Banking Act. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but I read an article and posted an article that came out of D.C. where they said that was a high likelihood it would be brought up. Now, whether it gets passed and approved and all that other jazz, but what that would mean then, it would be much easier to do banking if you're a hemp or cannabis company. I know Dave has personal experience. I think Blaine does too. Even when we set up my company, we don't touch the plant anyway. But when we went to Comerica Bank and told them what we were doing, we had to spend a month to have them look at us to make sure that we weren't. Because again, it gets back to on the federal level, cannabis is still a Schedule I drug, and that we're all hoping that's going to change too. But it keeps coming up anywhere, right? So.
That was quite the big news with Biden and what's going on there. So I guess we can hope that moves forward.
It's a starting point. That was for very low level. I got popped for having. You don't typically go to federal prison for possession. It's got to be something special. But for nonviolent and non-dealer type busts, there was about. I've seen different numbers kicked around. I've seen them as high as near 20,000. It's a starting. Everybody was complaining, well, that's not enough. And I go, well, it is a start. And let's take, small victories that hopefully will lead to big victories, right? And let me see what else I got that's hot here I can talk about. I guess those are the two big things. We all the stories that we did or all the interviews that we did on 420 Post this week are all online. Let me do my own shameless plug, though. We do have a holiday gift guide that's coming back in November for the CBD and hemp folks and the THC folks. You can't ship the THC stuff, but we can provide the information for our readers, and then they can go to the store and pick it up. CBD you can ship. Cut the price way down to $450 for a 6-week run, and we're going to promote it all sorts of different ways. You can check out that information at mimarijuanareport.com.
Any events coming up, Mike?
Yeah, we're going to be launching that in mid-November, so we announced it this month, obviously. You got to get it out in people's hands. And we have a special newsletter that'll go out with, and you can change your product every week, whatever you want to promote. Again, on the THC stuff, we can promote it, but we can't take money for it. All we're going to do is drive traffic to the dispensaries, or you can buy it at the dispensary and then pick it up, drive up, or whatever you want to do with it, however you work that out. But then, of course, the CBD products, like Michael was just talking about, those can be shipped because those aren't technically illegal. Although it's so messed up right now, I don't know what to believe anymore, right? So that's kind of what we got going on right now. We're gearing up for the holidays and trying to just, like you said, it's a challenging market out there. Everyone in the prices, the September numbers just came out from CRA. We had $212 million worth of total products sold, of which medical marijuana was 16.5 million. So it's way down. And we also found out that just in 1 month, that flower prices crashed another 6%. So now we're in Croptober, where everybody that's growing outdoors is going to be flooding the market. So I don't know what's going to happen at this point. I mean, it's great for consumers, but we also had Harry Barish on the show, who does cannabis real estate, and he has a lot of companies in receivership right now. And he has a lot of companies that just said to heck with it and are selling out. So, I mean, the shakeout has begun, and it'll be interesting to see who we have in the industry come next spring. So it's not a good time in cannabis community in Michigan right now.
No. Nope. All
That's
right. Thanks, Mr. Brennan.
all I got. That's good.
I appreciate it. How about you, Blaine?
We got a little bit of news we'll certainly touch on, that's for sure. It's time to play baseball, even though we're at the end of it. If you've heard the news, Charlotte's Web has struck a groundbreaking deal for $30.5 million sponsorship deal. It's a first for a major U.S. professional sports league, Major Baseball, MLB, and leading hemp derivative CBD brand Charlotte's Web on October 12th jointly announced a $30.5 million exclusive 3-year strategic partnership, making Colorado-based Charlotte's Web the official CBD of Major League Baseball.
Interesting.
So now we're getting into the limelight now, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good news.
It's very interesting to see.
And they have the money.
Yeah. So now it's going to cost another $5 for your ticket to the ball game.
Yeah.
So that's how that's going to, so that was pretty exciting news with that. Also, I'll share a little exciting news that's actually happening here in Michigan. And again, little pieces are getting in place and moving forward on this every day, every week, to bring this into, to get the infrastructure in place that we need to make this product work and to make the farmers be able to grow it and make money as well. So we've been talking a little while, a couple of years we're working on with Jessie D. Decker. She has a immune deficiency system, or her immune deficiency problem, that basically most places where she lives, because of the building material that's in the house, mold and different things, she's actually very allergic to it. So it's very tough for her to live. And matter of fact, this thing is such a large problem that there are some people that literally cannot live anywhere else but like in their cars to do this. So anyways, we've been working on trying to build some what's called environmentally safe homes. It's actually getting some very good traction right now, and we're planning on next spring to be able to break ground and actually build some of these homes with using hemp products as probably one of the main things, but also other safe environmental projects. So products. So look in the near future. We'll be talking more about this. We'll probably have her on the show and the builders on the show to do that. And there'll be some little fundraising projects. So it's also going to go very nicely hand in hand with what iHemp Michigan's planning to do this winter, is have some educational sessions on the use of hemp products in the building industry. A few weeks ago, hemp was approved to be able to use for non-structural walls for hempcrete. So we're excited to see that. And of course, there's always the flooring that you can buy and purchase. And I want to give a shout out to Hempwood down in Murray, Kentucky. They were named Ag Business of the Year by the Houston School of Agriculture. So, Hudson. At HUTSON, School of Agriculture. So great job down there, guys. And I'm looking at a project that I'm going to be doing, putting in some hemp flooring. So I'm going to help them out a little bit myself there. So great news there. Again, and then also Cody Lay is with Hemp for Humanity, H4H. and you can contact them at contact@h4h.earth. They're actually located in Ann Arbor, Michigan. They have a farm down by Three Rivers where they grow the hemp product at. And he is doing a project with a couple of tiny homes that they're going to be doing this year. So again, great things happening there. More and more exposures coming around, and more people are hearing about it and building with the materials. So stay tuned for that. We'll certainly have a Cody on the show in the near future to talk about what their project is down there that they're doing. So great things are happening there. And like Mike mentioned before, it's hemp. Or how do you call that, Mike? Croptober.
Croptober, yes. Yeah, there's like a lot of stuff being grown outdoors. Now, it's not going to be the higher quality stuff that you get indoors, but nevertheless, it's going to be flooding the market. So,
yeah, with everyone able to grow 12 plants, and I hope that plan stays. We don't get that taken away from us.
Yeah, we're talking about whacking it down to 3 or 4 now. So
that's still enough for me.
you usually get a pound or so off each plant, right? I mean, how much you get?
Yeah,
12 bucks a year. Woo! So.
And then I want to remind everybody that NOCO has put out their stuff for their Hemp Expo that's coming up March 29th to 31st.
Colorado Springs.
At the Broadmoor, Colorado Springs. And maybe if my world changes a little bit this year, I'll be going out to that. So
yeah, I'm
looking forward to doing that. So
definitely on my radar. That's where I have family. So
so a lot of good things there. Again, we want to remind everybody, if you are going to process and need a processor's license, if you want to avoid the extra fee that would be involved doing it after November, get your application in and look for. We'll probably talk about that on the next show a little more detail too, and maybe we can get somebody from CRA to come on and give us a little update on what they're looking at there. So we'll try to get that on. So yeah, good things all over. So yep, good things all over.
Excellent.
And enjoy this weekend. It's supposed to be in the 70s again this weekend, but as we all know, it's the end of October, so that's probably the last time you're going to see 70.
Well, I've got 2 small projects I've got to get done before, and I'd rather do it 70 degrees than 7 degrees.
Oh, yeah, geez.
The winter project. So
I'm going to be in the hockey rink in Port Huron all weekend.
All right.
Gordie Howe hat trick.
No, it's 60 and over. We're going to be I'm hoping we're going to be.
So no fights or anything like that then, huh?
No, we're too old for that shit.
Oh, okay.
Oh, come on, Dave. You're never too old for fights in hockey.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
there are situations. So, hey, let's talk about food. That's another good.
Let's talk about food, because food's always a good thing to talk about. So, unfortunately, I can't bring up the recipe because
I've got it up in front of us.
Do you? Excellent. All right.
He's on top of it. That's Wizard Dave for you,
He is awesome. Just freaking awesome. That's all I can say.
Just ask me. Yeah, sure.
Hemp and honey carrot cake, oat cups, gluten and dairy free. So let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger, Dave, so I can read it. But we need a cup of, thank you. Need a cup of gluten-free rolled oats, a quarter cup of hemp seeds. And if you roll down a little bit for me. And you need some nutmeg and some ground ginger and some ground cinnamon and tablespoons of creamed raw honey or cinnamon honey. Divide it. Unsweetened applesauce, raisins, grated carrots, unsweet almond milk, vanilla extracts, 2 egg whites, and crushed walnuts. Or I think what you could do is put some hemp hearts in there, better than the walnut. Yeah. And where would we get the hemp hearts, you say? Oh, goodness, I don't know. There's a lot of places online, but if you go to downonthefarm.biz,
where would you say the best place to get those online is?
I think the best place would be downonthefarm.biz.
Wow.
We'd be more than happy to ship them out. Absolutely. Yeah, that's for sure. So there's the recipe for that. It's online, and Dave said we got a little problem. Did it get fixed yet, Dave?
Clearly it's fixed.
Clearly it's fixed. Very good. All right. So now you can go to iHemp Michigan under the store or events. I think you'll find the recipe page, and this will be listed on there with a lot of other great yummy recipes. So
right, the holidays are coming, and this would be great holiday eats, right?
Absolutely, this would be a wonderful thing for
We're
sure.
a little too healthy, but yeah, sure.
Although they don't taste like cardboard, right? You know?
Yeah.
So, Mike, who's Michigan going to beat this week? Who are they playing this week? Do you know?
They're playing no one. This is the bye week. So
Oh, they get the bye week. All right.
we're waiting for that agricultural college from up your way that
Oh,
under the lights on
Oh yeah.
the following Saturday. So
Do
okay.
you have a buddy for that game?
yeah, I got a buddy coming from North Carolina for that one. So
I'll
He
bet.
has a list of buddies for that game.
that's good in there. But I still have 2 other games after that, Dave. So we'll have to talk. So
Sure. Yeah, maybe we can go there when it's
last
not.
home game of the year is against Illinois, which is a pretty good team this year. And then, of course, the following week is with those people from down south in the state that we do not name. You know, so
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for participating today on the show. And Michael, again, if we can maybe throw up one more time Michael's website if people want to help him out, a little bit of GoFundMe. Even $5 or $10, folks, goes a long way when you get a lot of $5 or $10 people. So.
or you can buy some of that really cool cherry products that he has. That I haven't had a chance to try them yet, but I know Dave raves about
Oh
them.
yeah, they're good. Yeah.
There are so many people that rave about his products that he does with the cherry stuff. It's amazing, and very good testimonials. He does one of the products is very good for children as well. On that, this cherry drop. So
Yeah, he's a good guy. He did not, as some nutcase on Facebook said, he did not cure my cancer, but
I don't think he claims to do that, does he? I mean,
no, he does not claim to do that, but he did help me. I mean, he did help me. So, but some people just take it and twist it and make things, and I don't know. I don't know. Some people I just don't understand. But yeah, this is his GoFundMe, and yep. So give early and often.
all right.
all right.
And
All right. Well,
enjoy
everybody
and get your yard work, get your leaves raked, whatever you got to get done. We got a 4-day window of 70 degrees coming up.
Sounds great.
all right.
Peace and love.
See everybody.
All right, thanks.
Have a good week.